You're listening to The Manning Report with your host, James David Manning. The news behind the headlines.
The people are wondering, why is that the Republican senators and congressperson and all will not say a word against Tribulation Trump? They know how vile he is. I want to play a clip from Lindsey Graham the other day, last week, when Trump pulled the troops out of Kurdistan, out of the border with Syria and Turkey, without consultation, without talking with the members of the NATO, European Union, without talking with the Defense Department or National Security. Just with a phone call with Erdogan, and all of a sudden he creates this war, and a war-torn area of the Middle East. He creates now an unnecessary war that doesn't even fit the category of wag the dog. And Lindsey Graham in a moment said the biggest lie that's being told by the administration now is a lie that ISIS has been defeated. Remember, Trump has been running around talking about ISIS has been defeated. Well, all the Republicans and all the people in Congress, all the people, James Mattis and John Bolton all knew that was a lie. But Trump keeps saying it. What's John Bolton going to say? What James Mattis, who was then Secretary of Defense, going to say? You're lying? ISIS is not defeated. But Trump said it because his base, his rednecks, they believe it. But it's a lie. Anyway, Lindsey Graham called it out the other day. Mr. Engineer, roll that clip on Lindsey Graham, and then I want to bring you back to the point of where all the others are going to have a moment, a come to Jesus moment about Trump's lies.
By the way, would we have defeated ISIS without the Kurds?
The ISIS is not defeated, my friend. The biggest lie being told by the administration that ISIS is defeated. The caliphate's destroyed, but there are thousands of fighters over there, and no, the caliphate would not have been destroyed without the Kurds. And I applaud the president for getting the Kurds and the Arabs to do most of the fighting. The casualties to destroy the caliphate was very low. We've got less than 1,000 troops now in Syria. But this impulsive decision by the president has undone all the gains we've made, thrown the region into further chaos. Iran is licking their chops. And if I'm an ISIS fighter, I've got a second lease on life. So to those who think ISIS has been defeated, you will soon see. And to Turkey, you've destroyed the relationship, what little you had with the U.S. Congress. And I will do everything I can to sanction Turkey's military and their economy if they step one foot into Syria.
But they
I
are.
hope I'm making myself clear how short-sighted and irresponsible this decision is, in my view.
Now, this is South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham saying the biggest lie being told by the administration. I beg to differ with that. I mean, there's a lot of lies being told by the administration. I don't think the biggest one, but Lindsey Graham is saying the biggest lie that Trump has told is a lie that ISIS has been defeated. And he does that. I mean, not Lindsey Graham does, but Trump does that about everything. He lies about everything. Thank God that Lindsey Graham had called this a lie, but he had to call the tax cut a lie. He ought to call all the other things that Trump has said as a lie as well. The building of the wall, the financing of the wall. He ought to call all of that a lie as well. He hasn't. He has not done so. He ought to call the fact that Mueller found that he was not exonerated, yet Bill Barr got on television and said that the Mueller report exonerated Trump. That's a lie too. Lindsey Graham ought to say that's a lie that Trump is telling. Now he's not done that, but something sparked that boy, Lindsey Graham, to call Trump a liar and a big lie as well. But let me say this, that here's what's going to happen. The senators, the Republicans people are wondering, why don't they put country above party? Why don't they put the Constitution above this New York casino owner? What's wrong? There are two things that are wrong. Number one is that the media is failing to identify in a meaningful way what's really going on in America today. What's really going on in America today is that a segment of white people are losing their autonomy. They're losing their supremacy. and a more diverse America every day. America is becoming more and more diverse. More and more black and brown skinned people are populating the politics of America, the social norms of America. And the generation of white people for 200 to 300 years who pretty much ran America, they were the sheriffs, they were the politicians, they were the mayors, they ran the businesses, they had all the power. And at one point, just going back less than 100 years ago, there was only, 5 to 10% of Negroes in America. But now there's a segment of America, white Americans, that now see themselves within a hair's breadth of losing their supremacy. And it isn't that these senators, these Republicans, don't recognize that Trump is lying. They know he's lying. And it isn't that they're so much afraid of Trump's base, that 41 or 42% of Americans who band together. They don't care if Trump shoots somebody on Fifth Avenue, because there's something more important at stake, that they could potentially be managed by Mexicans and black people in not too many days. If they lose their autonomy, they lose their supremacy. And this is a frightening thought. And so what is happening now is that these Congress Republicans aren't just, afraid of Trump. They know he's maniacal. They know he's vile. They know he's despicable. They know he's a degenerate. But if somehow or another he can extend the shelf life of white people in America, it's worth it. The ends would justify the means. If Trump can extend the shelf life of white America, then they're not going to touch him. They're not going to touch him. And all this talk about them saying privately behind closed doors how much they loathe Trump, I don't think that's true. These white folk know that their shelf life has expired. They got an expiration date on them. And the expiration date was 2016. And so we've got a dilemma in America, and the media can't cover it because most of the media is also white, but they are diverse white. They are for diversity, they're for LGBTQ, they're for civil rights, they're for open borders, they're for immigration en masse. And they can't say this in media. And then they've set up their own standards where they set up prejudicial or racial or social, unpopular subjects, matters to be covered. And so they're in a dilemma. The media can't cover it. New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC can't cover this. Because if you look at what happened on Friday night, Shepard Smith, born in Mississippi, got a job at Fox, a good journalist, a well-trained, Shepard Smith, well-trained journalist. He resigned from Fox News Friday night. That was a thunderbolt to the journalism across news and print media. It was a thunderbolt. Chef Smith said there's no longer he can deal with the likes of Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Jeanine Pirro, and the sewage that they're slinging every night. That's nothing but lies coming out of the White House. It isn't true. It isn't factual. It isn't journalism. And that would be the same thing if CNN or MSNBC or others tried to come up and say, the problem in America, the reason why Trump is doing what he does, the problem in America is that white people are no longer in control. White people are no longer running America. There's a diversity now in America. And it would have to be white people saying that. And it doesn't fly. The dynamics, it doesn't work. So what we see now is that there not only will be an impeachment inquiry regarding Trump's criminal activities with respect to the Ukraine, but there will be a greater impeachment and vote to impeach based on the fact that Giuliani is going to sing like a Rikers Island bird. For those of you who don't know Rikers Island is a prison in the middle of the East River between Queens and Manhattan Island, just north of the a Statue of Liberty by at least 2 or 3 miles, and it houses some 7,000 inmates out there on Rikers Island. And you can't get in, it's an island, you gotta cross over the water to get into it. Giuliani is gonna sing like a Rikers Island bird once the clamps come down on him, and they're gonna come down fairly shortly. So we're gonna have 2 impeachment matters. One is that Trump was never elected president in the first place. Then we got Hillary Clinton, and here she comes. Now, I don't think there's a deep state. I don't agree with that. But I can tell you this, that there's a dilemma now. The white America that accepts diversity, the white America that accepts LGBTQ, the white America that accepts Black Lives Matter, the white America that accepts civil rights, the white America that accepts that segment of America will not relent either. They believe that the path forward is a diverse path forward. They believe that LGBT, Black Lives Matter, civil rights is the right path forward. And they will not accept the path forward by what is identified by Hillary Clinton as the deplorables. I'm going to close this segment out by reading some comments by people who commented on my tweet this morning. And here's my tweet. My tweet said, today on the Manning Report, Tribulation Trump will be impeached and removed. Don Jr. indicted for Russian conspiracy. Giuliani indicted and will sing like a Rikers Island bird. Hillary Clinton will become president by Tribulation Trump default. And someone named Christopher L. Maloney writes, you are evil and ignorant. Okay. Why don't you argue the argument? Why don't you represent the items? I know this is frightening for them to hear this, but just don't call me evil and ignorant. Put a counter argument up. Say Trump will not be impeached. All right, here's another one. Marty James writes, surely this is satire. He couldn't possibly be this dumb. Well, that's a little bit closer to addressing the issue by saying it's satire, because it certainly could seem like that, but it isn't satire. It's absolute stomp down true. And Armando Del Pino writes, how sad to keep reading that even earning a PhD don't make you smart. And then it has a hashtag, Joseph Goebbels loved your kind. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.